and put together a string of wins today. Kicking off the first race, it's an interesting race because for starters, you've got a Jerry Gorno firster, which is not something that we see very often around here. We're used to seeing Jerry come in and basically his horses have a number of starts already to start the year. So seeing a firster is definitely out of the norm. There are no siblings to report on this horse, so not much for me to share with you guys there. 5 of the remaining horses have all raced together on the May 26th race. In that race, Chariot Chaser, number 3, basically quarter horsed out of the gate. I thought the first quarter was actually quite fast, at 22 and change, a bit out of the norm for this kind of a field. I think today with the addition of Caleb Pizarro, this horse definitely has a shot in here. Should improve off of that. Does have a maintenance work off of that race. Probably would have preferred to seen a 4 furlong work, but 3 furlongs nonetheless, better than nothing. I think this horse will show speed again and definitely should improve. The horse I actually like the best, though, is number 4, Très Magnifique. I think Samuel, jockey aboard number 4, gets his first win of the season. I actually think he's got a shot on a couple of live horses tonight, so hopefully he can come through for us. Très Magnifique taking the biggest drop in racing from the maiden special weight level. That race, in fact, could potentially be a key race. We saw Bayal came back and decimated a field of maidens last week. The winning margin was not reflective of how dominant that performance was. The horse came third, happy. I would expect to see that horse break his maiden as well at the allowance level this year. And the winner in that race, flat as a pancake, could definitely be any kind, maybe even a stakes horse. So that was a good field. The horse didn't show a whole lot, but ran evenly. And with the drop today, I think we see a big improvement. The last horse I'll mention, I mean, you can take any one of these for third, really, but the 6 horse to me looks to be the horse with Whitehall to probably run evenly, save ground, and then come rallying for a piece of third or maybe fourth. So for me, Kurt, let's kick things off with 4, 3, 6.
Okay, over to you, Stretch.
All right, I agree with everything that Marshall said on the 4. 4 is my top pick. My second pick, though, which I could have shown the replay, but I didn't decide to today. I think you should take a look at it, take advantage of the replays, is the 7 horse. Basically, started off slow, made a nice move, had the lead, and then basically tired in that race. That horse is going to improve. It also has a workout in there. So out of that race, it was a slower run race with those horses in there. Because of the trouble trip, the 7 can move up. The 3, just like Marshall said, I think that horse will be on the lead. Agree with him. Need a longer work helps me better. So I've got it 4, 7, 6. Careful on the close on the 6. It was a slow run race, though.
Yeah, for sure, Stretch. And I'm with you on the 7, Lauren's Little Star. I really like the way this horse ran. Maybe Neville pulled the trigger a little bit early as he saw Chariot Chaser have that big early lead. And he collared Chariot Chaser, but then tired late down the lane. As you said, has a nice interim work. But that 3/8 and 36, that'll sharpen this horse up. As I said, or just a little bit earlier, I think speed's going to do well on the racetrack. And I like how this horse ran in a stalking roll. I think Chariot Chaser and Très Magnifique are both going to show speed in here. So if Lauren's Little Star sits right in behind, has first shot at the leaders, the late rallier in Hello Country Bumpkin, or maybe even 401K, who has a nice sharp work coming into the race. Maybe it can run back to that closing effort it did against Mills Brush at the end of last year, going 5.5 furlongs. But I like the closer in here, and I like Lauren's Little Star, the 7, over the 4, Très Magnifique and Chariot Chaser. 7, 4, and 3 for me. All right, time to kick off Jackpot Pick 5 wagering in race number 2. The carryover over $250,000. This is another maiden race of $5,000 for the boys 3 and up. And this one going 6 furlongs. Stretch, you're going to start us off.
Okay, so last week we were looking at $250,000. Now we're at $333,000. I don't think I've ever heard of saying $333,000. So we're going to go with $333,000 anyway. 6 furlongs. Last race, or the first race I mentioned, watch out for the maiden special weight dropper. The number 1 is a maiden special weight dropper, but be careful. I think this horse really isn't quite a maiden special weight. He's in the race where he belongs. It was a great spot by Jerry to put the horse in where it was last time because it had raced, but it's right where it should be. So that's why I'm going to go to the number 2 horse. That horse was off for 2 years. Again, a bit of a slow start, ran evenly, and that was enough for me to give that horse another shot. If you look at the first race, Lifetime at Golden Gate, really nice race, runs back to that race. I think the horse certainly can win. Back to the 1, if it is speed holding and the 1 gets loose, that's where it hurts the 2's chances. But just because of the value, I think you're going to get more value on the 2. So I've got the 2-1. A long shot, if possible, duel. It's more of a slow closer type. Who knows, depending on how the track's playing. If it is speed bias, don't use the horse. And that's the 7. Last week, Kurt mentioned he liked the 7, and the horse ended up closing very nicely. And I think just with that kick, certainly could pick up the pieces late. Might not be a winning type, but 7-1 morning line. If the 1 gives it up, 2 takes over, maybe it's a 2-7 for a nice exactor. Still 2-1-7 though.
All right, over to you, Marshall.
I pretty much agree with Stretch in this race. I am going to go to the 1 on top though in here, which shortstop. To me, dropping speed on the rail. You've got Gorno, Rafael Zentino Jr. All systems go on this horse. For me, it's now or never. I think this horse does likely get the lead and did show speed at the higher level. So like Stretch said, perfectly spotted today. Now or never for me. The 2 dwelt at the start, probably spotted the field about 5 lengths. I think for sure should improve off of that, no question. The 3, Moon Fever. This horse pressed last time. Could do the same to the 1 if they do in fact duel. Then definitely the 2 is the play. The 7, Sir Yarnelton, that was the horse that at the 0 for 15 record, I just have a tough time backing this horse. I did back this horse last time though. It actually took quite a bit of early money, and Ryan Desjardins certainly been hot so far, going 3 for 7 to start the meet. So a horse I would definitely use underneath, but I just can't get past the 1. I'm going to go 1, 3, 7.
Yeah, I like the horses you do, 1, 2, and 7. I'm just like stretching here. The 1 horse with shortstop, the only reason I didn't take it on top, this has been one of the kinds that Jerry Gorno has had. Multiple starts as a maiden, showed good life on the front end, and then falls apart late down the lane. It's been a money sucker is what I call it. You keep wanting it to win, but it finds ways to get beat. It could be the perfect day today, as a track could favor speed. We'll see how that does play out. You only get 1 race to look at before it does happen, but maybe Chariot Chaser will wire the field and Trey Magnifique chases every step of the way. If you do see that happen, then which shortstop's chances go through the roof. But if you don't see that happen in the first race, I'd say be a little leery with your big win bets on which shortstop with the big drop in class, but I'm 2-1-7. Now we're going to carry on to race number 3, kicking off $25,000 guaranteed pick 4 wagering for this $5,000 claimer for 3-year-olds and up that are non-4 lifers. And Marshall, take it away.
Okay, I mean, this is another race where I think there's a couple of possible, contenders who can win it. Let's start on the outside, number 7. Speed of the race looks to be Proud and Loud, dropping in from the $7,500 open level. He couldn't get the lead there last time. He's run several solid races, though, in Calgary and Vancouver in the past, so there is some backlash there for sure. Lightly raced, he's won 1/3 of his races. I think that's a positive for sure. For me, the only negative really is that there's no work since his last race. And we've seen Tim Rycroft has been working his horses after their first start here. So that's a bit of a red flag for me. Definitely why I can't key him in this race, and I will use number 2, Hoochie Coochie Sam as well. Thought this horse in his last race was a really good opener. He ran evenly, but the speed figure earned for that race was above the par for this condition, for this field. So I think if he runs back to that, this horse should be very tough. This is, again, the second horse that I think Samuel has a shot on today. So I've got him to win 2 of the first 3 races. So let's hope he comes through for me today. And then the last horse I'll mention is number 4, Northern Sky. This is a horse that, moving up from the N3L condition to this N4L condition, but I thought the horse was visually impressive last time, ran a game race, and I just think this horse could definitely be used underneath. So for me, Kurt, let's go 7-2-4.
Okay, Stretch, who do you like in here?
Okay, basically everything said by Marshall has taken my notes away, but just a couple little things on the 7. Completely the key there. The 7 certainly can win and run off and hide in here. Will be a $4 horse. Is making the drop. I don't like horses that drop when there's a couple that there isn't a work. Now, is that because the trainer is sharp and he doesn't want to give this horse away and not have the work? Also of note, the last 16th of the mile, the jockey didn't run the horse out. Basically just sat on him at the end. Was that because he was just tired and there's no reason to ride him out, or was something wrong? That's one note there. The 2 horse, just briefly, just like Marshall said, it was a tough spot. Those top 2 horses, if they were in here, they would be the big favorites. And again, the 4 is improving. I've got 2-7-4.
Yeah, I'm all over the 2 and 7, but Proud and Loud, if you look at that last race against Mana Blues and Wits Gold, both of those horses have come back to run. And Mana Blues came back at a first level allowance, optional $10,000 claimer, ran second and got disqualified to 4th, so ran a good race. And also Wits Gold came back and won again at the 75 level, but also was disqualified. So ran against 2 really nice horses that came back to run big races at a better tag than this one. This is a huge drop into this non-4 condition race from Wide Open Company. This by far, best bet of the day. I like 7-6. Now we're going to carry on to race number 4, kicking off the late pick 3. This is a $5,000 claimer for the boys 3 and up that are non-3 of lifetime. And Stretch, you're going to start us off.
Okay. Another good race. I'm not sure where the 4 horse race came from. Huge effort, big figures. I don't think it's that much of a class rise at all. I think that we know the horse is sharp. The other thing that I do like is Jerry's horses seem to improve a little bit even after that first start here. So an improvement makes this horse extremely tough. So yeah, it's a class rise from non-2 to non-3. That's not as big a class going to the open 5. So I'm not too worried about that. The other horse that will be the speed is the 5 horse. And so that's the one last time I liked quite a bit, got a little too much pressure and faltered. Today, I don't know if there's going to be that much pressure. So again, could be lone speed. That'll certainly make it tough on my top selection of the 4. That horse gets loose, watch out. So it's 4 and 5. And then my distance 3rd choice would be the 2 horse. Nice first effort. Should improve a little bit. If the 4 and 5 somehow decide to hook up and the race shape changes, maybe the 2 can pick up the pieces. It will be a big price going from there. One horse, the last horse to mention to be careful was that I originally missed is the 3 horse coming from Hastings. That horse is off for 2 years. So I'm going to watch that horse once before I go there. So I'm going to go with the 4-5-2.
Okay, Marshall, what about you?
This is a race that I could probably make a comment or 2 about every horse in here. Stretch did a good job giving you a bit of a snapshot of the contenders as he sees the race. We are similar in here. I'm not sure who's going to the lead. I think it's the 5, Dixie Pulpit. The 2, actually, if the 2 went to the lead, that maybe wouldn't surprise me. Probably a few of them in here. I actually landed on Young Boy in the top spot as well. I thought that was an impressive win last week. Dueling down the stretch with a Strong Arm, who came back to run 2nd again last week in a tough field, though. In that same race, the horse that finished 3rd, Ojo Del Mar, improved 2nd off the start and got the win in there. So they ran 1st and 2nd. Wouldn't surprise me if that ends up being a key race and we see Strong Arm come back to win, if not next out, then certainly in the near term. So while the Youngblood is moving up in class, it's not a huge jump from the N2L to the N3L condition. And I think the way this horse won, I just thought this horse was game down the lane and could definitely duplicate that effort and win again. The other horse I'll mention, Dixie Pulpit as well, could go to the lead. The back numbers from Turf Paradise and Emerald Downs certainly solid, and if there's a repeat of any of those, will be tough in here. Again, you've got Whitehall and he sticks, so that's another positive. I'm going to throw out a long shot here for third. Number 1, King's Revenge. First start of the year, but this horse has run some great races at ASD. The horse is 7 for 9 lifetime at ASD. Just has the look of a horse that is going to run evenly, and if there is any kind of a meltdown, or if this horse is ready to go, and there are a pair of nice works, I think this horse could definitely get in to the tries and supers at, well, 7-1 morning line should be all of that. So let's go 4-5-1 in here, Kurt.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. I like Young Boy. Walking Solo ran a really good race, but was wide in the lane, so cost a little bit in there, as Northern Sky did get the win. At the head of the lane, I was calling Walking Solo, circling the field, and just kind of stalled. So I think that horse really needed that start and will move forward. Dixie Pulpit was in with Tigger Time, and those two battled it out, and they backed up, and we kind of predicted that it would be a long shot race, and that's ended up what happened. There was a meltdown on the front, and everybody else came flying by at the end. But King's Revenge, 2 solid workouts coming in. A nice 36-1 going 3/8, followed up by a half mile. 48-4. Ryan Desjarlais has had everything ready in his barn. He's had a few others that he's sent out, haven't hit the board, but those were route horses getting their races in before they start stretching out. So I like 4, 2, 5, and 1. Not far off of you guys. So that's race number 4. Now we're going to carry on to race number 5, kicking off late double wagering for this $2,500 claimer for 3-year-olds and up that are non-winners of the year. And Marshall, you're going to start us off.
Okay, this is probably my favorite race on the card today. I'm going to go right to number 5, Honor Class. This horse was well bet and well meant last out. I made a note about this horse, and I think...
Sorry, Marshall, it's Honor Road. Honor Class is in the race after. I know it's so close.
Sorry.
But we don't want to confuse anybody here.
No, well, clearly. Thanks, Kurt. No, that's
problem.
perfect. Yeah, number 5, Honor Road. That's the horse I'm talking about in the 5th. So again, this horse was well bet and well meant last out. Ran an excellent race. I think duplicate performance today, and we see this horse in the winner's circle. The back class is there. The horse had been racing for 5,000, 7,500 open, and again, 2,500 non-winners of the year. So for me, it's the 5 and then everybody else. Everybody else is, for me, the 1, Cecil the Cat. Ran in that same race. I thought ran a good race, was no match for the 5, but definitely could improve. Second start off the layoff. Jared Brown's been off to a very hot start here this meet, and he'll look to continue that today, and this horse definitely looks live. I'm going to throw out the 8, Aniar, as my 3rd choice in there. This is a horse that never really runs a bad race, always competitive. If you look back, this horse has a 15 for 24 record at ASD. So if you're looking for a horse to use underneath in the money, I don't think this horse is necessarily a win contender today, but I do think this horse definitely has a shot underneath. So I'm going to go 5, 1, 8.
All right, Stretch, what about you?
Okay, thanks, Marshall, for getting a horse's name wrong. Usually that's me, and I apologize to the owners, trainers on the names wrong. It will probably happen again, so apologize in advance. This race, I'm swinging for the fences a little bit. Not a huge price, but the 10 horse is the horse that I'm looking at. Take note of Hoochie Coochie Sam in a couple races earlier. If that horse runs well, then this 10 jumps up a little bit. So make notes of that as the race goes along. And so it's a nice spot for the trainer to put him in. Probably a little outclassed in that spot last time. Should get a stalking trip, and it's right where it belongs. This horse should make the drop. It's just a good spot, a reasonable spot for the 10. So I think that horse is going to basically take over just on pure class. Marshall has touched on the 1 horse. How can you not? 4 of 9 at the distance, 4 wins of 9 starts last year, 6th in the top 3. Should get a really good trip. Totally agree on his 5. The only thing to be careful was the complete circle race with all those sorts. It wasn't that fast of a run race, and so that's why I ended up going to the 10 over the other ones, just because the figures were not quite fast enough. Totally agree though with those other ones. It's just taking a bit of a shot here. Don't like the post, but let's hope it's good enough. 10-1-5.
Yeah, I like number 10, Vending Machine. I'm with you, Stretch, but I like Honor Road. Rafael Zentino Jr. went to number 4, Senator Robert, who ended up he's the only scratch on the card. But that's not a surprise. He's riding everything for Jerry Gorno, so I don't think it was one of those decisions between which one. It was like stick with your main gun who's giving you all the wins. So Edgar takes over on Honor Road. So you get the Bug Boy, you're going to get a little bit of a break in the weights, which definitely could help. But that's a leading rider down to the little brother. And the weight might be a little bit of a difference. Is the riding style a huge difference? I don't think so. I like the way Edgar's riding right now. Looks great in the saddle. He's starting to notch some winners, and I expect many more to happen. That 10-pound bug's going to be gone very soon. He's going to be a 5-pound apprentice probably in the next couple of weeks. But I like Honor Road to win it. I'm with you on Vending Machine, but I like number 9, Mr. Magic Please. Cecil the Cat, the one, is going to take a pile of money in here without a doubt, running that flashy third, beaten 2. But if you look, Mr. Magic Please runs against Cecil the Cat, and they take turns beating each other. In Saskatchewan, everything is about post position. You got the inside post position on the guy, you got a better shot to win, plain and simple, as long as you both break out of the gate. Mr. Magic Please has beaten Cecil the Cat in the past and got beaten by him with worse post positions. I like that last time out, he was on the far outside, rallied from 6th position when speed was holding on the racetrack. He still made up a bunch of ground, ran 4th, only a length behind Cecil the Cat. So I'm thinking a nice 5-9 exactor in there. Honor Road to Mr. Magic Please. I think you're going to get 10-1, and I think that's real juicy odds. Now we're going to carry on to race number 6. Kick it off, Super High 5 Jackpot Wagering, a $5,000 claimer for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up that are non-2-lifers, and they're going to tackle 7.5 furlong stretch. Who do you like?
Okay, good stats and good points on that big long shot. Maybe go 10-9, but if you want to go 5-9, that's fine too. Okay, race 6, longest race of the year so far at 7.5 furlongs. I've said best bet of the year so far on 1, best long shot of the year so far. I'm 1 for 2. I'd like to say that in this race, but I'll just hold it off. I can't do it every card, so we're going to save it a little bit. It's the 5 horse. For me, there's 10 horses in here, there's the 5, and there's 9 others. So it's going to be my key. I'm going all in on this. When you see my tickets a little bit later, after the 5, I'm all over the place. Basically, if you watched the race in the last time, the horse, it was a 5.5 furlong race. Basically, the horse ran 6 furlongs, ran in the center of the track, was not going to beat the winner. Winner ran a nice race, handily for second, and basically didn't urge the horse that much once it easily hit second. I think the horse had even more. If you really watch, take a look at the stats too. 3 of 5 last year. It's beaten the boys and the girls. The girls open, boys Manitoba breds. Likes the distance. It was a perfect prep race. It's the 7.5 helps the horse even more. Good trip. By the 8th pole, makes the move, takes over, waving at me, cashing my pick 5 ticket, going from there. The horse to watch, who will be on the lead, is going to be the 10 horse. Tough post out there. It's a newer jockey. She's improving every ride. I just find it a little tough to try to control a sprinter, especially a 5 furlong sprinter. I know the horse is going to be on the lead. Maybe it goes gate to wire if the track is right. I'm thinking the horse is going to need one from there. And then the horse with the trip that's the next best, this would be a scramble for second and third, is the 1 horse. Basically should get a great trip along the rail. Doesn't have to do a whole lot. 5 takes over, 1 comes later, maybe the 10 hangs on. I'm going to go 5-1-10.
All right, over to you, Marshall.
I like those 3 horses also. I have question mark on the 10. The horse has never gone past 6 furlongs, and I think that's for a reason. We're talking about 23 starts, 1 win lifetime. Again, nothing that inspires extreme confidence there, but I do think the horse will go as far and as fast and as far as she can. Gaskin second off the layoff, 30%, good trainer angle, and lone speed is always dangerous. The other one I like is the 5, definitely. Stretch has pointed out all the good angles there. The 1's also a multiple winner, ran against the boys last out in a state bred race. I think there's improvement today, likely for sure. Has multiple wins, has actually won this condition last year. I think at 8-1 morning line, this is a horse I'm going to be using. I'm going to spread though, but I'll take 1, 5, 10 as well.
Yeah, I'm in agreement on the 3 horses you guys like, but I put the 10 on top, Bold and Foxy. If you have an apprentice on your horse and you're getting a break in the weights, what you want is the front end all alone. And I think this is what this horse gets. Drops in from the $10,000 level down to this 5. This is a huge drop. You're not going to have a gold digging darling or a sweet design in here. And I like the way the horse stuck around. Only got beat by 3 lengths in the end for all of it after battling every step of the way. I think Nicole Hine breaks out of the gate, probably opens up about 5 lengths on the field and just sits there and just waits and waits and waits. And I think she's going to be long gone. So I really like her in here to go wire to wire. I like Honor Class. I think that's the only horse that can run it down. Honor Class, huge race. Swear Vengeance was the monster favorite at 1-2 and made it look like it at every step of the way. But Honor Class beat everybody else real handily, including number 3, Alicia's Valentine. And if you want a little long shot to throw into your tries and supers on the bottom, I like the 2, Crafty Memory. Here's a horse that likes to go around a ground, and last time out did close ground, but wasn't a sprinter at all, got beat by 12, so it looks bad. But look at those races when the horse went around 2 turns last year. They were all good, second by a neck, second by a head, and then a winner by 9. This is a great long shot to throw in, but I'm with these guys, 10, 5, and 1. Thank you for joining us for ASD Live, and we'll be right back with the changes on this evening's card racing.